Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news, where we give you the latest United news with that real fan opinion on the United Stand, and lots to talk about. We'll be talking a little bit about Pogba, but first of all I want to start, we've got the players below, but I do want to start off with something that came out yesterday about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been told by Ed Woodward that he's going to get a centre-back that will break the world transfer record for a centre-back, which is interesting. It's interesting because if that actually happens, then we're going to get a good centre-back unless we break the world transfer record on somebody absolutely crap like Gary Cahill, who's actually a free transfer this summer, so why would you break the world transfer record? But in seriousness, what is the world transfer record for a centre-back? Is it Van Dijk for 75 million? Answers on the bottom, I don't know, I presume it is. So, look, we're going to talk about Harry Maguire, but I don't think Harry Maguire it would be the player that Manchester United are talking about to break the world record for a centre-back. I think for me, there's probably 3 or 4 that come to mind. De Ligt, who's apparently already turned us down. Varane, who would probably be part of a Pogba deal, so how do you break the world transfer record? Koulibaly, who you break the world transfer record for, or maybe a Skriniar. And there are other centre-backs that you could break the world transfer record for, and I keep saying break the world transfer record because that's the story from yesterday, but I personally am going to be honest here and say I don't think Manchester United are going to break the world transfer record for a centre-back, and I would love to be proved wrong on this, because there's only one player I think they can be talking about, and it's Koulibaly. I think Koulibaly for 85 million, Napoli would take that. What a signing he would be. I would love, it's like a marriage really, isn't it? Lindelof with a big, sturdy leader next to them. What a marriage that would be. I'm not thinking of Lindelof as a woman and the big, sturdy centre-back as the man to protect him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the marriage of a centre-back pairing. You think about Vidic and Ferdinand, it complemented each other well. You look at Bruce and Pallister. Even John Terry and Carvalho at Chelsea. Carvajal or whatever his bloody name is. Why am I mentioning Chelsea? But comedy morning. It's a comedy morning. But Koulibaly and Lindelof on paper, and anything on paper can be burnt and destroyed, but looks quite good. So I think that's the player that I would go for. If this story is true, which I actually don't really think it is, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been told by Woodward that he's going to break the world transfer record for a centre-back for him, great. And you know what? Somebody said this on the show last night. When we last had Europa League football, we bought Pogba and we bought Zlatan, and we spent money. And we normally do spend money when we're in the Europa League because there is a big worry at Manchester United. 1 year they can deal with. They don't like it, but they can deal with being out of the Champions League for 1 year. If you're out for 2, that's when the pressure comes on. A lot of the sponsors, I think there are deals in place where it drops off. So they will spend money to make money. They will spend money this summer. And if the centre-back is the key position, it's interesting. And I think it's Koulibaly. So get in the video comments. Who do you think it is? If we're going to break the world transfer record for a centre-back, who do you think it is? So I'll bring Harry Maguire in here. I know he's not the first topic below me, but he is the middle one. So we'll hit the one in the middle this morning. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, 75 million tops, 75 million max. I don't think he would cost any more than that. I mean, Leicester they can flex their muscles, Leicester. They can say, we're not letting him go for any less than 100 million. I know he's just signed a new contract. I know we were linked to him last year, but he's only just 26. And I like Harry Maguire. We were speaking about Harry Maguire last transfer window, last summer, and we were desperate to bring a centre-back in, and we didn't bring anybody in. And Harry Maguire was mentioned. He had a very, very good World Cup. I think there was a few of you that were uncertain about him, but I think what Harry Maguire has done and was doing before the World Cup, he just took to the World Cup what he's been doing for Leicester. He is a left-sided centre-back who's very good in the air, who can bring the ball out from the back. He's a good passer of the ball. His pace is quite good. He's got a strong tackle. He's a very, very competent centre-back. And look, I would prefer a Koulibaly, I would prefer a Skriniar, I would prefer a Varane. But if we can't get those players for whatever reason, maybe Europa League football, maybe they go to other clubs, I don't know, maybe they're happy to stay where they are, then Harry Maguire would be a good option. He wouldn't be the world-class centre-back that I think we need, but can we bring in a world-class centre-back in the situation we're in? Are we an attractive enough proposition for a world-class centre-back? I think for Harry Maguire, it would be a good move because he would look at Manchester United with a deal of admiration. It would be a step up. He would be hungry and dedicated to make sure that, now he's, because at Leicester, who's watching Harry Maguire put in a man of the match 10 out of 10 performance at home to Fulham? No one gives a crap. But if he does it in the Old Trafford against Sheffield United next season, everyone will notice it. And that's why it's an attractive move for Harry Maguire. He's certainly a player who isn't a bottle job. He's certainly a leader. He's certainly a player that will not be dancing in the dressing room. He will not be downing tools. So in many ways, he would be a good signing. And I would like Harry Maguire for Manchester United. He wouldn't be my first choice. I would like to get that world-class Koulibaly or someone like that. But if it's not attainable, I would be very happy with Harry Maguire. I don't know about you lot. Let's go to Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, unfortunately, the story about Jadon Sancho is that he was willing to come to Manchester United, but the failure to qualify for the Champions League is why he's no longer interested in a move to Manchester United. I was told, I have been told that United were trying to sign Jadon Sancho, and they were quite confident of it a couple of months ago. Now, whether that's changed because we're not in the Champions League, you can see there's two ways with this. I actually thought Rashford and Lingard could have done something. I mean, I think they've been dreadful on the pitch, but I actually thought they would be quite a good influence on Jadon Sancho in the England setup to get him to come to United. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, because Rashford and Lingard are terrible at the moment, and would they drag Sancho down to their level if they're all mates? I don't know. I'd still take Sancho at United. I think that he's only just turned 19. I think he was 19 in March. Jadon Sancho having a year in the Europa League with Manchester United is not really a step down. Of course it's a step down because he wouldn't be playing in the Champions League with Dortmund or wherever else he moves to. But he's back in England. He's back in the spotlight. He's in more of a competitive league than Germany. And it'll be better. I think it would be better for his development. So he could look at it in that way and go, yeah, I'm not going to be in the Champions League for a year, but I'm young enough that it doesn't matter that much. I want this move. I want it to happen, and he can force it to happen if United stump the money up. On the other hand, he could go, no, I'm not going there. I don't want to be in the Europa League. It's a 50-50 thing. I don't think we're going to get Sancho, but I'm not totally convinced that he's not coming because we're not in the Champions League. I actually think he's probably not coming because he just thinks, I'm happy where I am. I'll stay here for another year. I'm only 19. I can be here till I'm 20. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Jadon Sancho. Let's move to the far right then. Daniel James is I never ever thought I would be using the Swansea City badge as a player that United are linked to. Championship Swansea. I never thought that we would be using that badge on the transfer daily, but we are. Daniel James, Manchester United, we're linked to him. Not James Rodriguez, it's Daniel James. He's 21 years of age. I think he's 22 later in the year. He's a left winger for Swansea, and Manchester United are linked to him, and quite strongly linked to him yesterday. And a lot of people are like, oh, he looks like a really good player. I think he's about 5'7", quick, skillful player. And again, I'm divided on this. I don't know. I'd love to see what you're saying below. I'd love to see what you're going to say about the centre back if we do sign the world class and we break the world transfer record for a centre back. Who do you think it is? I'm looking forward to reading the comments, but I'm really looking forward to reading the comments about Daniel James and your thoughts on him, because I've got two opinions on this, and I'm sort of going to say this. One opinion is he's not even played 20. I think he's only played about 20 something games for Swansea, and he's 21. He's coming up for 22. Why is he, there's 46 games in the Championship. Has he been injured, or is he just not first team? At 21, for a player that United are going to sign, for United to be signing a Championship player, I'd expect them to be first team, absolutely brilliant, to come to Manchester United. Because otherwise, my fear is, we're buying a potential player from the Championship that might not even be good enough for our bench and might not be able to make the step up. Why are we doing a signing like that when, and then on the other hand, you think, well, have we spotted something that actually he's ready to come into the team? He's got that ability to come straight into the United team. He's exactly what we need. I don't know. I would lead on the fact that he's a Championship player. I mean, he's not 50. He's not 17, 18 wonder kid. He's 21, going to be 22 this year. He's a decent player. In some ways, I think, well, this is the sort of thing that United should be looking at. Hungry player, wants to make that step up. But I just don't think, I think when you look at Brooks at Bournemouth, he's played more games than James. He's played them in the Premier League. He's played Premier League opposition. I know their positions are slightly different. Brooks at Bournemouth is more of a right-sided player, central player, whereas obviously James is a left winger. But, I mean, do we need a left winger? We're going to get rid of Sanchez. Are we selling Marcy? I mean, do we need a left winger? You've got Chong as well. It just seems like I think it's a red herring. I don't think we're in for him. I really don't. But in some ways, he's the right sort of player. Like I said, hungry, step up. Got something to prove. Yes. But I think there's probably more, and I mean they're never going to be safe targets anyway, but there's probably better candidates than him, I suppose. Let's talk about Pogba, because this was from French football sources that Manchester United want £160 million for Pogba, but Real Madrid can't pay that. So if United want to sell Pogba to Madrid, they'll have to lower the fee. Bollocks Real Madrid. We don't want to sell Pogba, so I think 160 million is cheap. We're not in a rush to sell him. We're not dropping the bloody fee, up yours. But they did mention that it could go down to 140 million plus Kroos and Bale. Bale's back in the mention again. I mean, £140 million for Paul Pogba plus Toni Kroos, who is... I think Toni Kroos isn't far off 30, so you've got to say Kroos maximum is probably worth about 40 million. 180 million is probably about right, Kroos, and 140 million for Pogba. But I'm not convinced Toni Kroos would suit the Premier League, so I'm probably more convinced than he would about Bale. But yeah, it's gathering pace with Pogba, and I think if I was a predictor, and I like to have a little predictions in transfers, if I was a predictor, my prediction about Paul Pogba is this: he wants to leave Manchester United because the 3 years that he signed up for have not been the 3 years he expected. The investment around him hasn't worked. The managers around him haven't worked. And he feels that his stage of his career, he can't be involved in another experiment. He will say, I've been in part of this experiment for 3 years. I've been committed to the experiment. It's not worked out. I now want to go to a club where I can be winning titles and challenging for the Champions League. And I think that will be Pogba's stance. Some would say you can't blame him for that. Some would say that, but I think that is the stance with Paul Pogba. A little bit about Herrera yesterday that I read from Sport Witness, that actually the PSG deal with Herrera hasn't been signed, and there could be an element that Herrera is using it to get better wages from United. I mean, I hope there's some truth in that. I really do think that Herrera will be going to PSG. If PSG saw him at the weekend, he only came on for 40 minutes. He was the best player on the pitch. So, and you're getting him for free at 29. I think PSG would be bang on right trying to get this deal done, and I think they have. But if there's any truth that Herrera's doing it to try and get a better deal at United, and we give it him, great. I want Herrera to stay. I do, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. And obviously Bruno Fernandes is a player that I thought United were going to sign. I'm still holding out hope. I mean, I've not got the hotometer today. That will be back to that tomorrow. We're not going to do the hotometer every day, but Bruno Fernandes was top of my hotometer, i.e. he's the player that I think we're most likely to sign at this moment in time. But Joao Felix is a player at Benfica, not Bournemouth. I bet they wish they had him. There's talk of City signing Felix and Fernandes. They won't do both of those. So it could be that United, if Fernandes goes to City, we get Felix. I'd prefer Fernandes. I would prefer Fernandes because he's more of a midfielder. He's more central. He can play box to box. He's more central. I think Joao Felix is much more of a sort of an inverted winger, a sort of Juan Mata. Not Juan Mata in style, but that sort of player. And we don't seem to get on with those sort of players where we play like number 10s as inverted wingers. So I prefer Fernandes, but you know, Felix is well liked as well. Anyway, lots and lots for you to talk about this morning. Who is the world transfer record centre-back that United could be signing? I say could with a hint of sarcasm because I don't think it would be happening. But if it is, who do you think it is? I think it's Koulibaly. Would you be happy with Harry Maguire? Are you convinced that the Jadon Sancho deal is dead or was ever on? And what about Daniel James at Swansea? Do you think that is the sort of signing United should be looking at? Or do you think we should be looking at better? And yes, smash a like on the video. And also, yeah, Felix or Bruno Fernandes, which would you prefer, I suppose? Get your comments in below. Lots for you to talk about this morning. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And I shall see you all tonight. Thanks for watching.